excited. It's something I've always wanted to do, and it happened for me, and I knew how to get to work, and I knew how to get some things done here, and I looked at what we had to do and the kids that we had. And I knew how to go get a few more kids, to fit, to make the puzzle right, and I think we did that. But it's a work in progress. You got to get in here and get these kids to work hard, understand what your beliefs are, how hard you work, it kind of pays off at the end, and I think we're still trying to learn that right now through the summer. I don't think our kids quite understand yet what it takes, but they'll get there. Once fall camp rolls around, they'll understand what I mean by that, and it's going to be a work in progress, and we'll get it done. I got a great coaching staff, and that was the main part, getting my staff together and getting that, make sure I got the guys that fit me and fit our program, and I think I did that, and now these kids just got to buy into what we're doing, and we'll see if we can get it done.
What about this program here at Hayes? The MIAA, it's a very, very good conference. We were talking about that off air with Northwest and Central, and you helped elevate Washburn, and Pittsburgh State's always lurking out there. Why do you think Fort Hays State can be one of those teams that's playing with the big boys in the MIAA and competing for championships there?
I think it's location. A lot of people think, well, Hayes is out way out in western Kansas, but I think it's a great place. You can get kids out here. You got the Denver area, you got western Nebraska, we got Oklahoma that we can get to, which isn't too far away, Wichita. And there's some pretty good players out here in western Kansas, and I think that's the whole key, is keeping those kids home. You can't let them go to Emporia or to a Pittsburgh State. You got to keep them here at Fort Hays State, and that's my goal, is to keep those kids home. But I think it'll take a couple years to get it where we want it. But all in all, when you look at our conference schedule, it's tough. It's even kill across the board. Teams are pretty good on both ends. You might be the 8th or 9th place team in the conference, but you're still pretty darn good. You're probably a few wins away from being number 1 or 2. So you never know, and hopefully we can get that done where we can get to that top tier level. And I think with the guys that we got, we can get it done.
How did your liberal background, upbringing, coaching from Alan Haskell, Gary Cornelson, etc., lead you to this spot where you're a head football coach at Fort Hays State University?
I just think it's the hard work they instilled in me. They taught me that you got to work hard for everything that you want, and that's what I've done ever since I was little. Growing up through those high school days, and learn how to work hard through the summer programs and through the conditioning in the fall, and just through the season. Learning what it takes to be a winner, and those two guys did that to me. Then I went to Pitt State under Chuck Boyles, and it was kind of the same mentality, and then I went to Washburn. I kind of took those things with me, and it just carries along. It's not hard. You just got to work, and if you know how to work and know how to get things done, and you're persistent with it, good things will happen for you. And hopefully that happens here for me at Fort Hays State.
Sitting there talking to you, and you've always been this way since I've known you, always very easygoing and understated and humble. But as a football player and a coach, you have a gear most people flat out don't have. Where does that come from? That ability that passion you had on the football field, and now have shown as a coach?
I really don't know where it comes from. I just know when it's Saturday or it was Friday night, there's a little switch in my head that would go off, and I was a totally different person. I try to find that guy through the week, but I just can't find it. But once Saturday hits, it's intensity, and there's a little switch in my head that just goes off, and either you get it done or I'm going to be all over you. It's just one of those things. And I was a player, it was my goal to beat the guy in front of me every play. And now as a coach, it's my goal to get our kids in that same mentality. And that's, I flip that switch, and they see me flip that switch. Hopefully they flip the same switch, and things run from there. But, I really don't know where it comes from. I don't know how I do it, but it's Friday night or Saturday night, that switch goes off, and I'm just a totally different person.
What about schemes here at Fort Hays State? They had a 3-8 season here last year and lose a lot of seniors, so you bring in a lot of new kids, and they'll be running some quote-unquote new stuff to them. 4-2-5 defense. They were 4-3, and they ran more spread stuff, from what I understand, more pro set with you. Talk about some of those changes in schematics these kids will undergo.
This spring we only had 15 practices to get in, kind of our base offense and our base defense. And defensively, it's easier to pick up a defense than it is an offense. And I ran the 4.25, and the guys I hired ran the 4.25, so they knew exactly the same thing. The main thing was just, learn our personnel and what we call things, and that was a tough part. As a coaching staff, for the players, it was pretty easy because it was all new to them. To us, when you start changing the name of things, you start thinking about the old way, what it was called, and you kind of lose track that way. But the defense is a lot easier. They picked up the scheme well on defense. I thought we got a lot better as the spring went on. And offensively, we're not going to be the true spread offense anymore. You're not going to see a lot of 4 wide receiver sets. You're going to see a lot of 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, or you're going to see 2 backs a lot. And we're going to run the ball some. And I think to be successful, you got to run the ball. If you can't run the ball, it takes away your passing game as well. But if you can do both, things are going to even out, and it's going to work out good for you. But Justin Schreiber, our offensive coordinator, does a great job. Smart kid. Justin Iskey's are my O-line coach, and they work very, very well together in the scheme of things. And they did some things this spring that I was like, man, I like that. And it worked well for us, and our run game got better as the spring went on. And it's only get better from here on out, but I think we're going to be pretty impressive on both sides of the ball.
Of course, you're a defensive guy. Will you be coaching the defense a lot as head football coach?
I will coach a position, but we have a grad assistant as well that will help me coach that position. So when it gets time for pass skill or inside run or team sessions, where I'll kind of just let him take those over, and I'll kind of roam and watch both sides of the ball. But although on that offensive side, I kind of want to know what's going on both sides of the ball. It's my program, and if things are going bad, it's on me. It's not going to be on anybody else. So I got to make sure I know what's going on both sides of the ball, and I'll roam around a little bit. And if I got to chew a kid on both sides of the ball, I'll do it.
Well, no doubt about that. Ricky Jacques from Liberal High School played 2 years at Butler. Now here he is at Fort Hays State, and we've talked about him off air. Talk about Ricky and how he fits into things up here at Fort Hays State.
Ricky, he's done a good job. He's been a leader for us. Right now he's like somebody told me he's working 2 jobs here this summer, but he's still making, the workouts in the morning and the workout in the afternoon. He's still making those workouts, and he's getting kids here, and he's a liberal kid as well, so I've been a little bit tougher on him. I expect a little bit more out of Ricky, coming from liberal myself, and he's done a good job. He's run with it. He's become a leader for me, and we put him through some gruesome times this spring in the morning runs, and he fought through them, but he's just a great kid all around. Just his attitude, the way he talks to people, the way he treats people, and his work ethic are top notch. If we can get our kids to kind of follow in his footsteps and learn from him to see how to work and how to treat others and what it takes to be a winner, we'll come a long way.
Joined by Chris Brown. He's the head football coach at Fort Hays State University.